Welcome and welcome back to another series of Rest With Me. Get on a bed. Let's take a deep inhale together. In through your nose. Hold for 2 and release. Bring your shoulders up and back. Another deep inhale. In through your nose. Hold for 2 and release. Today I want to talk about 5 traits that you are interacting with someone that has narcissistic personality disorder. I also want to give you 5 symptoms that you have suffered narcissistic abuse and 5 tools to heal. And so grab your notes, something to record, and let's get to it. The first trait of someone who struggled with narcissistic personality disorder is this preoccupation with fame, status, wealth, and outward appearances. This is a person that may have a public persona, and then when they get home with you, they're a different person. Okay, this could be a roommate, a colleague, an intimate partner, a family member. And this could be quite confusing because if you're someone who internalize a lot of your self-talk is, am I doing something wrong? Is there something wrong with me? You may start to blame yourself for how they are interacting with you. The second trait is that their love or relationships are transactional. In a nutshell, it's shallow and they may only hit you up when they need something from you. So it's easy to feel like you're being used in these types of relationships. Number 3, these individuals tend to be arrogant, lack empathy, and you can really see this in how they treat service staff. So if you're out in a restaurant, you may actually feel embarrassed with their rude behavior. And many times they project and think others are envious of them when it's not the case because of how others react to their arrogant and rude behavior. Number 4, you may see these traits in their family. They may have one or both parents that have some narcissistic or toxic traits. They may also have siblings, and you know what they say, birds of a feather flock together. So you might be interacting with their family and realize, wow, these interactions are quite toxic, but for them, it's the norm. And you know, I am very careful. We don't want to over label others and just say this person, that person is a narcissist, but these are traits, and everything is a spectrum. You may see someone who has a few of these traits and someone who is full-blown have each of these traits. Number 5, these individuals require admiration. They constantly want to be praised, and if you try to give them constructive criticism, watch out. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be an argument. They may project it onto you and say, no, you're actually like this. And so that it is really challenging for them to take accountability for their actions. And so before we go into how to know whether or not you suffer narcissistic abuse, comment below if you encountered an individual, friend, colleague, intimate partner that have some of these traits. And on a side note, a way to disarm a narcissist is to ask them, do you take responsibility or accountability for any mistakes or actions you have performed? Now, I wouldn't wait for the answer. I would just say, think about it, sleep on it, because unfortunately, they might gaslight you or project, right, and do a lot of emotional damage. And so I would just leave it at that and walk away. Now, here are the 5 signs that you have suffered narcissistic abuse. Number 1, you have difficulty making decisions. And I'm talking about simple decisions, not where you want to live your life, right? What occupation you want to take part in. Those are huge decisions. I'm talking about what should I wear, what to eat. You constantly have to check in with others. And this is because your sense of agency has diminished, and it could be a result of constantly being gaslit. Number 2, you feel helpless, not just around this narcissist, but in general. You feel like you can't do nothing right. And you know, when you are around someone with narcissistic personality disorder, you almost feel like you cannot please them, right? It's like, if I do this, they're gonna get upset. If I do that, I can't do nothing right. And then you take that approach and it bleeds to the other areas of your life where you feel like no matter what I do, I won't be successful. I won't be able to reestablish my life. Even after separating yourself from this toxic individual, you may still have that residue of faulty thinking. Number 3, there's social withdrawal, because you know deep down inside, if you start to share the details of this relationship, roommate, friendship, intimate partner, situationship, folks are going to look at you like, bye, why are you still there? And so you already know it's toxic and you're not ready to leave, so I'm not saying anything, right? Or there might be social withdrawal because perhaps this narcissistic friend or intimate partner constantly criticize your friends and encourage you to break off these relationships, and long term you started to isolate yourself. Number 4, you struggle with constant anxiety. You're not sure if you should stay or you should leave. It's almost like playing double dutch, okay? It's like you're in the ropes and you don't know if you should get out or continue jumping. And this is the case because, in a sense, you may not be able to see the future without this person, but there's a part of you that wants a sense of relief from this individual, so you feel torn and divided. Number 5, you feel a sense of depression, sadness, irritability. Why? Because your agency has been taken away. You have lost yourself in this relationship, and many times you don't even realize it, that it's slowly chipping away at you and your self-esteem. Now let's talk about 5 ways to grow, because we want to heal. Number 1, you have to acknowledge that you experience trauma, emotional abuse, narcissistic abuse, sometimes financial abuse. Why? Because perspective is key. If you don't acknowledge the harm that has been done, how can you heal properly? And what will prevent you from falling into another toxic relationship? And so many times it's hard for us to acknowledge that we have been victims of abuse. But I like the word survivors, because survivors can thrive. And so you have to acknowledge that you are a survivor of narcissistic abuse. The second way to heal is to get therapy. As a therapist, of course, I'm going to advocate for that. I would recommend in person if you can't, virtual. Also, there are support groups where you can surround yourself amongst others who have experienced similar circumstances and can validate your experience. The type of therapy I recommend is cognitive behavioral therapy, also known as CBT therapy, or EMDR, which is very beneficial in processing trauma. Meanwhile, I would encourage you to journal twice a week using cognitive behavioral therapy prompts, and I'm going to link a video with those prompts so you can start your healing journey. Number 3, you have to grieve the relationship. And I'm not just talking about the horrible moments, but the beautiful ones too, especially if you went through the honeymoon stage and you was love bombed. Okay, that can be tough because you desire to go back to those beginning stages, and perhaps they were never the reality. Perhaps that was constantly a mask that narcissist put up. And love bombing doesn't only happen in intimate partner relationships, it happens in friendships as well. Okay, and so keep that in mind. You have to acknowledge the good, the bad, and the ugly, and symbolically have a funeral. You know, just think about requesting a day off where you journal, where you perhaps delete pictures. If you're not ready to do that, place all the pictures in a file that is difficult to reach to, so you're not constantly bombarded by reminders of this person. That way you can heal. Number 4, it's important to shift your focus to the future. Yes, it's important to look back to heal, but if we constantly look behind us, can you imagine walking backwards, right? Especially if you're walking in the woods or a forest, you're likely to hurt yourself. But many times when we experience trauma and abuse, we are stuck in that past trauma. And so it's important to re-envision your life. Ask yourself, who do I want to surround myself with? What are the hobbies that I can take up? What are the tools that I can apply, whether it's journaling, walking in nature, engaging in psychoeducation, through literature and learning techniques to support your journey. It's important to take one step forward. And I know growth is messy, right? When it comes to mental health, sometimes you feel like you take 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. But that is key. And a book that can be very helpful is The Courage to Be Disliked, and I'll put that in the description. Last but not least, number 5 is to engage in self-care. Take care of yourself, because unfortunately many of us lose ourselves in these toxic relationships. So try to, like I mentioned earlier, start new hobbies, making sure that you are getting rest, nutrition, and movement as a foundation, and really put your needs first for once. Many times when you're in these relationships, you are hanging on a thread and you put your needs in the back burner. And so this is time for you. I always say, treat yourself like a baby. When you're hungry, feed yourself. If you're feeling sad, comfort yourself. Really have this mind-body connection versus mind over body, which can be very toxic. If you made it to the end, that really supports me. Please comment on what you're going to take away, and definitely hit that like, subscribe, and share this. And definitely like and subscribe this video, as that will help me, and share with a friend, because too many of us suffer in silence. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. As always, thanks for watching.